Watch my homies, DJ80 here. It's been a while since I've done a product review, but I am back with a good one today. And I am reviewing the Eurolight LED KLS Scan Pro Next FX Compact Light Set. Yeah, nice catchy title there. It's essentially a lighting bar, pre-made. I have it all here ready, so let's take a look and get cracking. So here's the box that it arrives in. So the box comes and it says on the box what it is, and it's got a picture of it on the other side. This box is a little bit battered, but that's down to FedEx. Yeah, first off, what I'm going to do is just open it and make sure that I've got a brand new unit. For nearly £900, I expect a brand new unit. So we'll open it up, check everything's new, and then we'll look at it in a bit more depth. So in the box, we get the lighting unit itself. I'm going to put that on a stand in a moment. Talking of stands, there is no stand. Most pre-made lighting rigs like this have a stand included, and for nearly £900, you'd think they'd spring for one. But I do have a few stands anyway, so I'm going to see if I can find one that fits on. So you get that unit, you get your instructions, you get two of these brackets which are for mounting. They go on the side of the unit, and that allows you to mount it like on truss or something like that. And you get your two screws for that too as well. So I won't be using those, I'm going to be using it as a mobile. You get a PowerCon lead with a UK 3-pin plug. This is about just a fraction under 3 meters long, so it does go. I can put my hand up to the ceiling or just near it, and the plug reaches the floor. You get a little remote control like this, so it's not your standard remote control. It's got like a forward and backwards on there as well. I might give that a go shortly. And you get this letter which is in German. I know I don't speak German, but I'm assuming it's some kind of proof of product. That's pretty much it. So I am now going to put this onto a lighting stand, and we'll run through it in a bit more detail. All right, so first things first, I've got a lighting stand here that I've used. And basically I've just taken the cap off the top, and this has a spigot coming out of it, and it needs, according to the manual, a TV spigot for stand insulation. So I'm not entirely sure what that is, but for the moment it's sitting in there, and I can't lift it out because I've got one hand holding the phone. But let me run through the actual fixtures itself. So we'll start with the bottom. So it has 4 of these wash light effects. So each one of these effects has a 7-watt LED in it. So each one of these is 7 watts, so we've got 35 watts per unit, which means we've got 140 watts of wash lighting. Then coming up to here, these are little UV lights, 1 watt UV lights apparently. Pretty pointless really. To be honest, they could have probably saved everyone a bit of money and taken those out, because no one's going to be relying on them for a UV effect. Then moving up to the top, each side has a moving, well, it's not a moving head, what are they called? Scanners, that's it. Each side has a scanner, and these are 37.5 watt LEDs in here, cool white LEDs, but inside the unit you've got color gobos. So we're looking at 37 and 75 watts of scanner power. And then up here, this is your Derby light, and I think these were 3 watts if I remember. Yeah, so this has 6 3-watt LEDs, 2 red, 2 green and 2 blue inside it. And as you can see, they have thought some of this through, because they've given you enough play on these wash lights, so you can move them around and have them pointing pretty much wherever you want. So the cables, although they're permanently fixed in, and they are nice, you know, it's a nice metal connection there, you can completely move them and have them facing wherever you want, which is probably quite useful for bands, I should imagine, who only have a certain amount of area to set up on stage. So turning it around then, on the back of the wash lights, they're convection cooled, and they have these fins on them as well to cool them down. It's a bit like car radiators. So the heat goes on the fins and the air cools the fins. The scanners are fan cooled. So we've got fans there. And the Derby light looks like it's fan cooled as well. So we've got some vents and a fan background. And on the back of the unit, we've got a power con in and a power con out. We've got DMX in and DMX out, and I believe it said you can, let me just double check, I think it was 8. 8. So power wise, you can link up 8 of these lights together, and obviously you can DMX them together as well. Uses a quick U DMX dongle, which isn't included, and you can also buy a pedal controller for this unit as well, which isn't included. Has an IR remote sensor there. There's also one on the front as well, I saw. That's obviously for the remote control. And then we have a sound sensitivity mic, which will be there. And there's also a brightness sensitivity as well, which is interesting. You have to assume that that controls the brightness of all the lights, but we'll try it out in a moment and see what happens. And then on this side, you have your normal little digital menu, and we'll see what that does. So it's not overly heavy, but it was just a bit too heavy for me to lift up one hand to show you that spigot. But as lighting bars go, it's fairly easy to carry with 2 hands. So I guess what we should do next is plug it in and see what it looks like. So as soon as you plug it in, it starts doing this little thing here. It's got its own special software according to the manual. And I think that's the scanners moving there. Just, yeah, it looks like they're maybe aligning or something like that. I'm not quite sure. Do you know what? I think this unit's been returned because it's faulty. I'm going to, oh, hold on. Oh wow, happy days. How long did that take? 3 minutes. All right, so just be aware if you buy one of these, it takes 3 minutes to get itself going. And I still don't think there's any lights. I can't see any light coming out of that. But I do have the brightness right down. Let's, aha, there we go. That's my bad. So actually, if you turn the brightness right down, it turns the lights right off. So let's go halfway then. What lights have we got? Actually, that's pretty bright. I know it might not seem too bright on my phone, but those LED lights, those PARs in particular, are proper bright. We've got some scanners going on the wall. So what I'm going to do is go to the end of my room here. I'm going to turn this light out and we'll see what that looks like. I've just moved, excuse the mess. Okay. I've got a scanner. Yeah, I can see the scanners moving at the top there. And we've got the, I'm guessing that's the Derby lights that are causing the dots on the side. And I want to just double check that both those scanners are working. I think they are because this light reflecting off them. Yeah, red one. What's this bad boy doing? Blue one. Okay, so that's halfway. Oh. If you don't hear from me again, it's because I went full brightness. So let's see what they're like on full. Alright, so that's what the room looks like. Oh, dots. We listen to all the DJs go, oh, dots, I don't like dots. DJ, listen to me. Every light is a dot, alright? It's just that some are different shaped dots. Okay, let's have a look. Wow. I'm not gonna lie, those PARs in particular are very bright. It's so hard to show you on the phone because you can see, you can watch this video, I can see it on my screen and there's no glare. But if I actually look at them with my eyes, they're proper bright. You know, when you look away, you just see the blobs. God, I'm super impressed with that. It's arguably the PARs make the rest of it a bit defunct. I'd like to see, those scanners only seem to be pointing upwards, don't they? Okay, well, I'm going to go and have a look at the programs and just see what we can make it do. Here's our little menu. It's quite easy to go in. We go into menu, if you can see that. And we've got auto, sound. So if I go into auto, it's on program 1. And I can go down to fade. Speed is on 80. If I press enter, it'll go up. Let's see if you can see the speed. What does it go up to? I'm guessing 99. Yeah, 99. So that's 99. We've gone full speed, Captain. Oh, look. Little gobo's going for it like a little UFO. Okay, let's go back into that. Okay, I thought I'd just quickly show you this. This is program 17 and it's all blue and the scanners are white. So, and it actually looks really nice. So the PARs are just blue. You see those big old white, this would be quite nice at weddings. It does look nice in the flesh. And guess which program this is? Yep, program 18. And we've got all red going on. All right, so I'm all set up now at school. I'll just show you where I've set the light up and I'll try and show you the size of the hall as well. I'm starting in about 15 minutes. I haven't got long. I'm going to turn the lights out also and see if we can see what it looks like with the lights out. So this is where I've got it set up at the moment. I've actually just used the normal tripod stand. So the pole that comes out the light is called a TV spigot pole. And so far you can get stands that are tripods like this that have adapters for them. But I haven't found one that's just a base yet, but I haven't had a big chance to look. I've brought my big uplighters here. It's a bit of backup just in case the light isn't enough. So I'm going to sat in there nicely, and the power lead still has a little bit of give in it too. So what I'm going to do now is turn the lights out, put some music on. The size of the hall that I am in, I'll just quickly turn around, I've got to try not to get some kids, is that big. So it's a square hall, and it's that big. Just a quick point to mention, I'm still waiting for this to start producing light. Since then I've done a quick mic check and I've walked around the hall as well. But it's still doing its initializing. See that? Oh, it looks like we've just hit it. There we go. Okay, so let me show you what it looks like in the light. So the scanners are looking good. You can see the scanners there. They're working really well. So this is with all the lights on and the lights shining in. So let's see what it looks like in the dark. Okay, so I've turned the lights off. There's still a lot of daylight coming in here. So I might draw the curtains. But I'm going to go to the far corner. That's not bad. And if I show you from my perspective down here. So this is what it looks like from my perspective. Those scanners are epic. I can't believe how big those patterns are. It's great, isn't it? I'm impressed with that. Right, I need to crack on. I'll try and get another clip a bit later on when it's dark. Alright, this is the second disco, much darker. They're on sound to light. So, that's it in action. Let's jump to the conclusion and see what my final thoughts are. Right, as always, let's start with the cons. So the first obvious downside is you are going to be paying a premium for something that's already pre-built. So if you were to buy perhaps all of these lights individually and mount them on your own lighting bar, it will probably be a bit cheaper. So you are paying for that added benefit. But the upside is it's all built in for you. Someone's done all the thinking behind it. So you don't have to, but there is a premium for that. Another downside, which I'm really surprised about, is you don't get a lighting stand with it. So you have to buy a stand extra if you want one. And it can't really be just any normal stand. So this uses, I've done some homework, and this uses a TV spigot mount. And what that is you see that there's two grooves running around the inner pole here. So let me grab a pen. So on your normal lighting pole here, obviously we stick something on the top, but with a TV lighting pole, it has two screws that go in here. So when that metal part sits through here, two screws go in, tighten up, and then they stop it from coming out. I don't really know how that would come out when it's upright, but that's what that TV spigot is. So I've actually brought a gravity stand, which I'm going to adapt and use that instead. But yeah, no stand with it. Bit of a surprise. You are going to have to buy one. Another thing, it's a small thing, but I'm going to mention it. It's these little UV lights. They're 1 watt. They're all right, but you know, don't advertise. If you were to buy one of these, don't advertise and saying that you can do a UV disco. I just rely on those because they're more of a very small extra lighting effect rather than anything significant. And out of all the LEDs on this lighting bar, they're the lowest wattage, and I think they're just a little bit of eye candy, really. They're not relevant UV lights. Now, you saw that room that I did the video of, and that was a school hall. I had about, I think it was about 120, 130 kids in there, and one was okay. If that was adults, I think one would be okay if I had it in the center behind me and I had some other lighting. Probably I'd use some up lighting around the room, and maybe stick it all together on sound to light. Maybe I'm making a judgment call there because I can't say for sure. One of these might be all right. Certainly most of my adult events are well less than 100 people. They're normally somewhere between the 50 and 80 mark. And the halls that I go to for my adult events are quite small, and this would be absolutely perfect for it. But if you do events in bigger halls or like the size of that school hall, you might have to consider getting 2 or getting 1 and having some other extra lighting around the room. And then just lastly, obviously because this has these mirror scanners, the whole thing needs to be handled with care. So it's not something you can just chuck in the car and chuck out again. Just bear that in mind. It's anything like moving heads and scanners and stuff. They're all a bit touchy, so you have to be really careful with them. And the other thing I noticed is I did edit the video, but the initial startup when you plug it in, took about 3 minutes before I got to the main screen. It initialized for about 3 minutes, and bizarrely when I did the clips at home, I switched it off and then thought, oh, I'll just take a couple of clips of the programs running, and when I switched it back on, it came on within about 30 seconds, but then I didn't use it again. I took it to the school, set up, went to take the video of it and had to wait a few minutes, and it did the whole initializing thing again. So I'm not quite sure where we are with that, but assume that it's standard throughout this lighting, and it takes about 3 minutes to set before the lights actually come on. The other thing is it hasn't got an on-off switch. That brightness switch is the on-off switch. So if you want to get it ready, you can have that turned right down whilst it's doing the initializing. And then after a few minutes you can turn it up and all the lights should be working. So those are the cons. And obviously the other con, it's down to you whether you think it's value for money or not. But this is just under £900 for what you get here. And for some that just might be out of their price range. So on to the positives then. And on to the positives then. So one thing to note with this is it has a lot of really good built-in shows. Lots of variation to your options with sound to light, and obviously of course with the DMXing as well. You can buy a separate USB DMX dongle, which I haven't looked into. But for those of you who are into DMX, I'm sure you might find that quite useful. It has the remote control IR light on both sides. So whether you've got this behind you or to the side of you, the remote control will work. I'll be honest, I haven't used the remote control, probably never will, but it's there. The case is nice and thick and solid. This is actually 3 inches on both top and bottom. So this is 3 inches thick, and it's not squidgy, it's proper solid and firm. So it's well protected, it's a decent case. Obviously it's easy to transport, zip it up and put it wherever you need to, in your car or your van, and then just carry it out, and it's all there in one piece. It's very easy to set up. It's plug and play. So stick it on your stand, plug it in, you're good to go. One of the main things I like about this, which swayed me over this from buying another lighting one, and I have owned the Chauvet Gig Bar 2, I actually owned a couple of them, is just the wattage of the lighting. There's really no point in buying one of these if the lighting isn't that powerful, because you're going to have to end up buying more. But at 35 watts each for the washes and the scanners, well, you saw for yourself how good the scanners are. In fact, that's another main selling point for me. Those scanners looked awesome in that haul, and the kids love watching them as well. So I haven't had a good play with them, but I'm sure if you look into the programs, there's probably a way just to have the scanners on, I should imagine, without anything else on. But they have what swayed me, because I could easily just buy some pars and stick them on a bar. What else we got? So as you saw in the video, it comfortably coped with 120 kids. And I'm not sure if one would be enough for 120 adults. I mean, it did seem to work well in that hall, but I would probably, if I was using this for adults events in that size hall, I might have some uplighters around the hall as well, just to have some light all over the hall. But it's a judgment call, really, I think, because sometimes I like to do gigs and I have a separate area that's all lit up for like a dance floor area, and I don't mind having dark spaces in the hall for the guests who don't necessarily want lights flashing in their face all night long. And the other thing is, most of my adult events are easily less than 100 people. It's normally somewhere between 50 and 75, I would say. And this would be perfect for that. And they're also normally in a smaller hall as well. That was a school hall. So I think that's pretty much all the positives I can think of. I absolutely love this unit, and what I might do for my bigger events is just buy another one when I need to, which I think my next big event is going to be in the summer. And this suits me perfectly, because I have a separate business from DJ80 called Discos, and it's just taken off. It's obviously my niche area, which I'm really good at, and I'm out 2, sometimes 3 times a week doing school discos. And for those of you who go out regularly, you'll know that physically that can take quite a toll on you, you know, loading stuff up and unloading and in and out and rushing around. And I just got to the point where I needed something that just worked a bit smarter rather than harder. And so I was hoping that this would tick the boxes, and it does, which means it's just a lot less stuff that I have to carry back and forth, which over time is really helpful. So I am really, really pleased with this, and it's perfect for me. So I'll leave it down to you to decide whether it's up to you. There are plenty of retailers, and have a look around, look for a price hunt. If you found this video useful, by all means give us a like and a subscribe. If you have any questions that aren't too technical, definitely not about DMX, put them in the comments and I will try and answer them for you. But yeah, that's my review. Oh, am I going to try and say it out loud? I'll have to read it. That's my review of the Eurolight LED KLS Scan Pro Next FX Compact Light Set. Oh, and just remember, there's one other thing. One other thing. There is Eurolight do another light system that's very similar to this, and it's a bit cheaper. Don't get it confused. It has round par cans, so it's not as powerful. I think it's about 150 quid cheaper, and it looks exactly the same. You'll be forgiven, but the par cans aren't as powerful and they're round, whereas these ones are square. If you're going to go out and have a look for it. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.